All right, so welcome everybody. Very excited to be here with you all today. My name is Alex Isaacs, and I'm going to be presenting this introduction to Adobe Express. So we've got plenty of time today to really go through the platform, learn it from the bottom up, and really explore how this platform can amplify creativity in not only yourself, but also your students. So before we get going, I'm just going to remove this little recording tab and pull up the chat. I would love to know on like a 0 to 5 scale, 0 meaning I've never touched Adobe Express. This is my first time logging in, to a 5. You could be on the other end. You could be me right now, actually being with Greg, performing this training for everybody. Where do we all kind of stand with our Adobe Express experience? I would really like to know where we're all at. Robert, I love the 0.5. That's one that I've never seen before. Thomas, I see that we had to outdo a little bit with the 0.49 as well, but I can assure you, regardless of where we are at today, you're all going to be able to create and feel confident moving ahead that you know where all the resources are and how to get started with your own class. So it looks like overall we have some beginners in here. That works for me. We'll keep the pace based on what you're all able to handle and how you're feeling about it in the moment. And I assure you, the introduction to this session is going to be the most you hear me speak. It's going to be a lot of hands-on creating today, and I'm very excited to be here. So very quickly, before we get into everything, I'm an educational technology coach in Long Branch, New Jersey, and I am a former grade 8 math teacher. So if there are any math teachers in the chat, please give me a shout out. But regardless of that, please let me know your grade level and role in education. I would love to know kind of who we're dealing with today so that I have a better idea of how to kind of pose this session. But very excited to be here. Love working with EdgeGain, one of Adobe's premier training partners, and being here on behalf of them and Adobe for Education. So I just couldn't be happier to be here with you all at such a wonderful event. And I hope by the end of today, you all find this to be a valuable use of your time. So before we really get into everything, and I'm going to keep this up, I am going to make sure to drop that opening link in the chat for everybody, because what this is going to allow you to do is get compensated for today. And I want to make sure that you all are getting compensated for taking time in your spare life to join us and really learn about this platform. So I just dropped that form within the chat. I'm seeing a lot of kind of middle school, upper and higher education, some high school teachers, excuse me, government and econ. I love that we've got some math people in here, and world language. We're going to show you a translate feature that'll really blow your mind. And for everybody, I'm sure that we're trying to make our materials accessible to our students and their families. It's going to be such a game changer, what we share with you today, just like little side tools that aren't even the focus of today's session. So one more time, I dropped that registration link within the chat. Please complete that so you receive compensation for completing this session with me. And what I'm going to do now is, for everybody who was here before, hopefully you're good to go within either using Clever or just signing in directly to Adobe Express with your school credentials. If anybody had any login friction, please drop it in the chat at this point. But what I'm going to drop in next is the actual web page that has all of the resources, all of the activities involved today. So if you would like to click on that link that I just added and have it open as a tab throughout this session, that would be a great way to kind of stay up to date and keep pace with what we're completing today. Jamie, I'm sorry, did you hop off of mute? Do you need anything?
Oh,
okay, no problem. Just checking in.
I'll turn off my mic. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. I just wanted to make sure everything was good. Great to have you. So, if you are in on this main web page, you will see this button that says review today's training. So just full disclosure today, Adobe just changed the way that they present their professional learning materials. And this is my first time navigating this. So I've got Greg there, even though I know he's a great guy and not really breathing down my neck. I'm trying to do my best to navigate this. And I would love some feedback during the session to know how you feel about it, because I know back in the day when jumping through a presentation, it could get a little confusing. So when you get down to this lovely picture on the left side that says, let's get started on the right, you can click on that review today's training button. and you will be brought to this other very colorful and engaging web page by Adobe Express. And this is going to describe what we're going to be learning today. So I'll give everybody about 30 seconds to kind of join us here. You are more than welcome to have this tab open as well, as it's going to give you complete access to Adobe Express and the activity that we're going to be working on today. And again, New Jersey, but formerly a New Yorker. Between the hand movements and the accents going in and out and the speed with which I talk, I know I can lose people at times. Please, if I'm going too fast, drop it in the chat. I'll do everything I can to be mindful of pace. That's actually the word that I'm keeping in mind today. So just as a very brief intro, you're going to learn how students can easily create an Adobe Express to deepen learning and share their thoughts on any subject. So regardless of your content area, your grade level, I've worked with students personally in my district all the way down to first grade with this tool with great efficacy. You're going to be in good company today. So we're going to discover the why behind classroom creativity and its importance. We're going to tour Adobe Express, including its homepage, tools, and templates. We're going to look at project examples that you can remix within any content area. You're going to literally create with Express in a guided hands-on activity. And we'll also add voiceover in the form of one of 3 different ways to provide some level of reflection to help make thinking visible. So I can only speak to my experience as a Adobe trainer. The activity that we're doing today, I've done with students, I've done with adults. It's very engaging. It's a way to really start on a low level with the AI generation features within this tool. But what I would recommend, considering I'm on 2 different accounts presenting on Google Meet, I don't have the opportunity to share audio. If you would like to see firsthand exactly what the finished product is going to look and kind of sound like, you're more than welcome to click on this figure over here at some point if you want to briefly check it out. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to start off with the rationale and talk about the why of creativity and how Adobe Express kind of coincides with that. So this is one that I've been kind of introducing to kids a little bit more often than not. Those Netflixes, those companies that students and children entering the workforce from college or going straight from high school, those ones that they are really engaged to work with, they are looking for that trait of creativity, one of those 4 C's that we hope our children leave us when they go on to their job, their work life, higher education, college, all of that. So just some statistics right here. 86% of educators say generative AI skills boost students' career prospects. A wonderful stat that can share, hey, as we get these tools into our students' hands more often, they're going to be able to separate themselves when it comes time to find these jobs in the real world. And it also emphasis on industry standard tools. 95% of educators emphasize using industry standard AI tools for teaching essential skills. And all of this, creative AI helps students discover fulfilling career paths. It's allowing them to tap into creativity. I assure you, this is a real story. I was in a 2nd grade class yesterday doing a summer safety template that I created with Adobe Express. And I had a student flat out, and I've heard this before, I can't draw, Mr. Isaacs. And I said, okay, well, that's great. You don't have to be able to draw today. You're going to have a tool that's going to bring what's in your head, your imagination, to life. And that student, by the end of my little STEAM class period with him, made a wonderful child superhero graphic along with safety tips for the summer. So I can assure you, this is a tool, this is a platform, a design tool that allows students to express themselves creatively. But not only does creativity help students when they get out into the work world kind of be more prepared, but it also enhances academic achievement. So 91% of educators noted better learning when students tackled creative AI projects. Boosting of cognitive skills, creative thinking activities boost critical thinking, knowledge retention, engagement, and resilience. I'm going back to when I was a math teacher. If I just threw a bunch of example problems at my kids, that ability to retrieve what I taught them later on, even the class period sometimes could be a challenge. But when I was allowing them to perform hands-on project-based learning, specifically with Adobe Express, the thinking stuck, so to speak, for lack of a better word. And finally, It also facilitates, creativity does, facilitates complex problem solving. Creative projects help students bring complex ideas to life, making learning more personal and meaningful. That's probably the thing that I like the most about Adobe Express. It offers everything in one place that a child, a teenager, all the way through an adult could need to create something dynamic, something that shares their voice. And we're going to do that specifically today. So we also have a really great cited report that is a full research analysis of how AI and creativity can impact student learning. You are more than welcome to check that out as you have access to these resources. But at this point, we're going to scroll down a bit more, and we're going to begin with a tour of Adobe Express. So when you click on this button next to this person with very nice teeth, you should be brought directly to the Adobe Express homepage, or actually, excuse me, to this Learn video within the Adobe Express homepage. If you like, whenever you want to get back to that main page, I always try to tell people this, just click on that rainbow gradient A in the top left corner, and that will bring you to this home screen. Now, Adobe also decided to very recently completely change this up. So before we get into the really important Learn and Educator Resources tabs, I just want to kind of show you some of the more popular quick actions that Adobe has kind of determined are really appropriate to have on this main homepage. So there are 3 separate tabs that you have: creating, teaching, or editing. You decide on what you're trying to do, and then you can kind of scroll through these examples. They put, excuse me, let me go back. I clicked on that by accident. If you're looking to create a video, you can click on that right there, and it will bring you into a video template with multiple types of Adobe stock footage in HD that you can use. We're actually going to be generating an image with AI that's already been created with a prompt. But you have all of these different options underneath. One that I would really recommend to keep in mind is this guided activities with instructions, because when you click on that, and you can also access this by going to the Educator Resources tab, you can then go in and see all of the different activities that are available. And what makes these specific is that they all have video instructions built in. So it's really accessible where, let's say by the end of these remaining 2 hours, you're still feeling a little bit unconfident with using the tool with your students. You have every ability to walk through the process of remixing a template step by step within these different guided activities. So you also have the ability to go teach. You have some different aspects where you have professional learning, and you're going to earn a badge today. But if you want to earn an additional badge for kind of like a self-paced course, I would highly recommend this blue square in the top left corner underneath the teach section. But these are also going to show you how to access different types of activities or showcase student work with galleries, one of the newest features that's going to allow you to have digital gallery walks and really provide feedback to students in one space. You can also click here to go browse templates. And what Adobe Express has done recently is added in all of these different aspects where you could search by content area, you could search by grade level ranges, and it is then going to filter out for you all of these different pre-made templates that you can then remix, you could share with your students. There are presentations in here, there are video templates. You have all different types of options all within this one space. So really what I want to share is from that main homepage, kind of decide what you want to do. And if you're needing that additional support or you want this very visual site of the different options you have, you can click on these. Something else I would highly recommend to kind of consider out of these editing tools would be the Edit PDF feature. That's going to allow you to bring in a PDF that was created digitally and edit it, translate it, really add in images if you'd like to make it more engaging. So that's a very excellent tool that allows you to make PDFs even more accessible, even more engaging for your students and their families. So at this point, I'm going to take a brief pause. Anybody have any questions, please drop them in the chat. You're also more than welcome to hop off of mute at any time. Don't worry about interrupting me. I'm happy to answer any questions, hear any thoughts or otherwise. So kind of scrolled the whole page. If you're looking to do something that is not within these 3 tabs, you can go up to this purple plus button in the top left corner, and you can then even search for something specific in that top right corner. So again, these underneath on the home page, these are like the most popular, impactful quick actions, so to speak, that Adobe's kind of pre-selected. But you also have this purple plus button that you can select in the top left corner in order to scroll through even more options to start with. Okay? I promise I'm getting to the end, to the point where we're all going to be creating soon enough. Now, again, that Educator Resources tab, that's going to provide you all the guided activities. You can break these up by subject area as well. Let's say I wanted to go language arts and go upper elementary school. You see that these are guided activities that have instructions built in. And this is actually also brand new for Adobe Express. Now bringing in content area specific standards aligned classroom activities. So in addition to those guided activities with instructions built right in for you and your students to listen to and follow along with, we also have worksheets, infographics, graphic organizers, posters, video templates that are standard aligned right out of the gates. So you have some great options. Again, we have the Learn tab underneath, where if I wanted to click on this one specifically, while the Educator Resources kind of has those templates and activities, the Learn tab has videos broken down by category for you to learn more about the platform specifically. So while we might not be covering too much video today, if that's something that really interests you after today's session, shameless plug, I'm doing a video session at 4 p.m. I don't know if anyone else could tolerate me for another 2 hours and change today. I can't tell. I hope so. But you could go here to the Learn tab and pull up the video section and then kind of learn from these as well. So you have some great options available to you to really feel confident with the platform before integrating it with your kids. Okay. Greg, I probably went way over with trying to get people into creating. I'm doing my best, but back
You're doing great. Keep going.
I appreciate that, Greg. On this yes, go ahead, sir.
I'm going to love you and lead you. Have a fantastic time. Listen carefully, folks. You've got a lot to learn. And yeah, if you could just make sure people have checked in and filled in the survey, we're all really good. But have a great time. I will depart.
Thank you, Greg. Have a great evening. Okay.
Cheers.
All right. Be well. All right, so back on this web page right here, and once we get towards like the midway point of the session, I'll drop that registration link one more time. Again, I want to make sure everybody gets compensated for today. Once you get back to this activity 1 section on this web page, and you know what, let me drop this web page in the chat just for everybody, just in case. If you're like, what is this bearded man talking about at the moment? I just dropped the link to this web page in the chat. And if you scroll down to this woman right here, you'll see this generative AI activity. So for anybody out there who's like, oh, I've never done AI before, well, welcome. We're getting you here. We're excited to have you here. And I can only tell you that the safeguards built into this tool, they're going to allow you to feel very safe, very confident that your students are really getting their imagination out in a very safe way. So one more time for everybody out there, in this section of the web page, you are going to select generative AI activity. And when you go in, you should see this lovely cherubic kind of action figure doll with the rosy cheeks. And I believe it's a soccer jersey with the soccer ball, introducing Dana. And we're now going to remix this to fit kind of ourselves. Now, I'm not going to paint anybody into a corner. You want to make this a content area type of thing where you want to describe a famous historical figure or mathematician or scientist or anything along those lines, you are more than welcome to do that. But for me today, I'm going to kind of stick to the prompt, and we'll show you how to get started in just a moment. So I'm hoping that everybody's looking at Dana, the action figure / doll right here. This was actually the Adobe Express monthly challenge, I believe, from October of 2024. So just about a year ago, I actually completed this as a Adobe Creative Educator and Innovator. You know, if you become a Adobe Creative Educator level 1 and 2, you could become an innovator, and then you could be training people. And just for the record, I have had people attend trainings of mine who are now innovators. So that always is a great thrill to inspire people to want to use this tool and really train others on it. So the first thing I'm trying to be more mindful of myself is right up here, Untitled July 24th, 2025. You probably got a title that is similar to mine. What's really nice about Adobe Express is it gives you a title based on when you opened the file. So even if you don't name it, you're still going to know when you started it. However, I want to start being more diligent with naming my designs. So I'm going to say Alex's action figure. I believe these are being deemed action figures. If you want to call it a bobblehead, considering the head on this doll is pretty large, you could do that as well. And then make sure you hit enter after that. Okay. I don't know about everybody else out there, but the first thing for me that stands out is the year. So in order to edit text within Adobe Express, you kind of hover over that element that you want to change and you double click. So once I double click on that 2024, you could see it becomes highlighted. I'm going to change that obviously to 2025, excuse me. So one more time for anybody out there, simply double click on that 2024 that was originally there, and then enter in your new year. Now, one quick thing, I'm pretty sure everybody can kind of see this right now. This video over on the right side, again, unfortunately, I can't share audio. I assure you, once I let you all just create, kind of giving you that time to be quiet and just let you create on your own, you can watch that along if you still want these steps. But I figure with me here, I can kind of introduce it and then go from there. So I'll close this window just to give us a little bit more room. And let's say you don't like that ribbon color that's underneath. Just kind of click on it until you see that little fill box on the left side with red. Click right there. And then you can go custom. You could select anything on this little spectrum of colors. So if I wanted to go with more of that like salmon color, but one of my best tips for everybody that I love sharing is this little dropper right up top that I'm kind of hovering over right now. I can click on that. And let's say that I really like that purple assign button color. I'm going to take that one and kind of hover over it and then click. And now I've got that very nice kind of purpley look. Okay. If you don't like the font, you can click on it, go to this Nunito over on the left side. And what's very nice about Adobe Express as well is you will see what the font actually looks like in those different options that it's giving you. It will even give you recommended fonts based on your design. I don't know why this is remaining blank. Let's try one more time. All right, it could be because it's grouped. Let's try this one. All right, I hope it's not blank for everybody else out there, but you could just simply change it and you'll see it here underneath. You'll see these different aspects of text. So I'm going to now show you how to change the picture in just a moment. But remember, in order to kind of change these traits up top to fit your needs or whoever you're describing, all you've got to do is double click and change those to what you'd like. Okay. Only other aspect before we change the image, if you click anywhere on that black outer rectangle, you'll see this button at the top left. That allows you to change the background color to anything you like. And I will go with this dark green kind of aqua color. Okay. You can double click on Dana. Let's do that quick. I'm going to change the name. Let's say your name gets a little bit too long. Click on that corner handle and click and drag in. Okay. You can also use this right here by clicking up and down on that minus and plus sign. All right. So again, you will edit the name, the traits and description up top, and then this text in the yellow. And I'll be working along with you as well, but this is the really fun stuff. So for everybody out there that was like a 0.49 in skill level on Adobe Express, I'm hoping that this is a lot of fun for you to try for the first time. You're going to click anywhere on the image of the bobblehead doll, of Dana, okay? This cherubic type of bobblehead doll. And what you should see over on the left side are all of these 7 tiles over here. You're going to select the generate image tile, bottom middle. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a moment to get everybody caught up. Maybe some people are changing the text a little bit. You're going to click on the bobblehead doll in the middle, and then you should see this kind of rainbow background with a gear in the middle or those little meters in the middle. You're going to now click on that. Now, for anybody who's never done an AI prompt before, it's okay. I get it. You know, some of us, it can get a little bit intimidating. Even myself as a tech coach who's very well versed in all the AI features and platforms out there, it can become overwhelming. Whatever you see within the parentheses, and I'm going to zoom in for everybody so we can hopefully see more easily. Female, brown eyes and chin length, black hair. Green shirt and blue jeans, brown for eyes. That's the stuff that we want to kind of focus on editing to change our prompt. Now, look, you want to get original and completely do your own prompt for your bobblehead dollar action figure. I am not trying to prevent you from doing so. So by all means, go ahead and do that. But for us just getting started, if we want to kind of maintain the design's overall aesthetic, you want to make sure to kind of edit that text within the parentheses. So I'm going to go male cute doll with blue eyes, and let's go short black hair. And I will say, you can see that the prompt said black hair, yet the hair is kind of brown. We're going to get 4 separately generated images. You got to kind of be a little bit with that scrutinizing eye. You want to pick one that really matches and does a good job of getting your idea on a page. So I'm going male cute doll with blue eyes and short black hair. The doll they're really emphasizing those blue eyes, and let's go red shirt, blue jeans with white shoes. And pink glasses. The pink glasses, I don't think showed up there. Let's just go sunglasses. The doll is holding a soccer ball. Now, that's one that actually should be in parentheses. So what happens is the original person who created this image with generative AI, their prompt is right there. So even though that soccer ball is not in parentheses, I would recommend changing that. Okay, so let's say I'm going to go golf club. Let's see how good we can get. I'm not going to change anything as far as style bobblehead with big head, small body on a plain background. I'm going to keep it as art, and then I'm going to click generate. And what you'll see underneath, now you do have multiple different styles underneath, and you'll see that I get these 4 gray boxes that are now going to populate or be generated by Adobe Express. Okay, some of my friends here have 2 golf clubs, but I got to say, overall, I see a red shirt, I see blue jeans, I see sunglasses, I see a golf club, I see short black hair, and I see pretty much every bit of a description that I did right there. Now, I didn't put beard or anything like that because I'm trying to do like a kind of cute doll version of myself. But now you could scroll through the 3 of them, or excuse me, the other 3 of them, and pick the one that you like the most. Let's say you don't enjoy any of the 4. Go underneath, click generate more, and you're going to get 4 additional options. So at this point, if you're feeling confident to kind of go off and really edit this template, by all means, you're welcome to do so. I'm going to choose this one just because I kind of like that 3-dimensional kind of effect going on here. Let's say something is getting caught behind that speech bubble on the left side that says now introducing Alex. Click off of your image and click on it once more. So you should see that panel on the left side one more time, and I promise I'm going to stop talking in about 1 minute. Click on position, and now go flip horizontal. And now you can see that I've got my golf club in my hand showing for my very festive doll. So at this point, I'm giving everybody 20 minutes to be working on this. I'm going to set a timer on my phone just to keep myself honest. You are welcome to go grab a drink to kind of have with you. You're welcome to be eating lunch while you're doing this. You can hop off of mute. You can hop on cam. You can drop some questions in the chat. You are welcome to do whatever you like to let me know how you're doing, or if you need any assistance. I'm going to try to be quiet for the most part. And if I think of any quick tips that might help you, I'm going to kind of just drop those in the chat, or I'll hop off of mute here and there, and I'll give you that advice with my voice. So before I kind of give you time to not listen to me, I'm going to put in that registration link one more time. That, again, is very important because it gets you compensated for today's session. Please make sure you complete that tiny URL, that form that is available to you. So you receive some money for joining this PD today. All right, I'm going to be working on my example. Please let me know if you need anything. If we did it already, do we need to do it again? Jamie, if you've already done this activity in another session, I would recommend going under the educator resources in the bottom left corner.
No, I mean, for the form, because I haven't done
Oh,
this before. I
no.
haven't used AI. I was just wondering
No,
if the
if
form
you've done
request.
the form once already, you're good to go. I just wanted to make sure everybody got it if they joined a little bit late.
Okay, perfect.
All right, timer getting set. I'm here to listen. If anybody needs anything, feel free. Hop off of mute. You need anything, I got you. And again, good question, Jamie. If you already filled out that tiny URL I just dropped in the chat, no need to fill it in again. All right, timer is set. Hopefully I don't have anything too aggressive when the timer goes off. All right, so very quickly, you can see that I've changed it to plays golf, loves taking long walks, and plans to go to Florida. That's kind of what's on my radar right now. Almost sounds like I'm doing one of those old-fashioned dating videos. I enjoy long walks and candlelit dinners, but no, that's just me kind of describing me as a bobblehead doll. And maybe I'll go back and put a beard on this character. I just might, although everything else looks so good. If you do not like that yellow color in the bottom right, just kind of hover that cursor until that purple outline is the rectangle, click on it, and then just choose that fill option on the left side. So I'm going with that kind of assigned purple button color today. If anybody does not like the background that came in and would like to remove the background, click on the image that you generated, and then it's that dog in the top left corner, and I'll show you what happens when you click on that. Really great option as far as making things look very professional, very seamless, so to speak. You can bring in any image and have that background removed. One other aspect for anybody who likes using video, they also have a background removal tool for videos that are imported into Adobe Express. So you could do some very dynamic project-based learning with that option. You can also move any objects on the screen by clicking on it and then using the arrows or just clicking and dragging with your cursor. But again, you don't like any of the fonts that are kind of set on this template, simply click on the text you want to change, go over to this drop down on the left side, and you'll see all of these different options available that actually show you the text. And that recommended fonts is not functioning right. That's weird. Only other thing I really need to change is changing the new design text in the ribbon to kind of be white. Other than that, I'm thinking this looks unique enough. I'm going to put a beard on my character, though. Let's do it. I'll duplicate him just in case. If anybody's trying to remember how to edit their prompt to change the image, simply click on it, then go to Generate Image over on the left side with the rainbow background and meters. Can't make the image move. However, we will be actually adding an option that can make it talk. Okay, Lorenzo? So that would kind of be the way. Now, if you're telling me like an animation where you could kind of bring it in, like almost like a transition, that you can do, but that's usually more for presentations. However, we're going to show you a way to make it where a mouth is moving, and we can then kind of apply it to this character and it'll be able to talk. I will say that. Although I will try something before I completely say they can't move. So let me try something really quick. So first I'm going to generate my new bearded character, or hopefully with a beard. And I noticed there's this new animation called like wobbly. I'm wondering if that might allow it to kind of move around a little bit. I'm going to give that a try for you, Lorenzo. All right, none of these looking too good. I don't like the double golf club for the one individual. Again, please keep me posted if anyone has any questions out there, and you're more than welcome to watch that video over on the right side. Ooh, this one really looks like me. I mean, at least I think so, other than kind of like the upturned mustache. I think that's a good one right there. All right. Yeah, I'm liking that guy. That's one, and it even has like the old-fashioned golf club. I like that very much. All right, let's duplicate this. If you ever, this is another kind of good tip. If you ever have something you're like, I like this, but I still kind of want to explore something new, you get rid of this. You can click on the three dots in the bottom right corner and then select duplicate. And that's going to give you an extra copy of the activity or of whatever design you duplicated. Okay. Let's see if I could do this for you, Lorenzo. So I'm going to go remove background, animation, and we're going to try wobble. I got to tell you, Lorenzo, I don't know if you just saw what I did, but it was kind of scary. I got to be honest with you. So I'm going to try to cut down on the squish. But Lorenzo, if you're looking, this is the wobble animation that they just added. All right, I think that was not enough. You'll kind of see my character over on the right side kind of start jiggling around a little bit, but that would only be at the beginning of accessing the design. Lorenzo, pretty good. I like that. I got to say, that's a very adroit little commentary on that one. I do. You push that squish level up to 90, and it looks like I've really just left an, oh my God, that's like making me uncomfortable. Wow. Lorenzo, you just came up with the best comparison I've heard in some time. Really like it. All right, so just for the purpose of not freaking anyone out, I'm going to get rid of that animation and just keep it as the graphic. All right. Lorenzo, I enjoyed that. Thank you for the idea. Okay. Pages, and we're going to delete this one. Okay. All right, we've got about 10 minutes left on the clock for you to continue to work on these masterpieces of yours. Ernesto, I guess a little bit maybe. Oh, wait, Ernesto, are you saying that actually happened? I thought you were comparing it to this character. Oh, no, that's a bummer. Boy, that's my childhood. I was at WrestleMania 10 at Madison Square Garden. I know he had a lot of controversy near the end of his life. Hopefully that doesn't set any tone for the remainder of the session. We're going to keep it upbeat here. Just while you're all creating, this training kind of almost mimics how you could run a class if you decide to use this with your students, hopefully when you decide to use this with your students. So, you have that ability to kind of share a template that you changed, and we're going to show you how to create classrooms and all of that good stuff. But at this portion, this is the design process. This is you giving students a task, them completing it, and then once we kind of get this remaining time in to finalize these generative AI graphics, we're then going to almost reflect. We're going to perform a reflection next using voice in one of 3 different ways. So we're going to kind of get to that next, and it's really going to kind of show you what you could have your students do to kind of make that thinking stick, like we talked about earlier today. But I'm liking this look right here. Is everybody doing okay out there? I want to just do a quick check-in with the remaining time that we have. Anyone have any questions? Anyone have any ideas for how you could utilize this in your own class? If I recall, someone said world history, I believe, could definitely do this activity where students are describing a famous historical figure, and then we're going to show you how to give them the power to talk. But if anybody has any ideas on how you could use this in your own content area, or if you finished your graphic and you want to take a look at the educator resources from the main homepage, any of those that catch your eye, I'd be happy to kind of listen and hear about that. When do you all start back up school? Are you like mid-August, early August, or when does it? I don't want to rush you all back. I hope you still have a decent amount of time, but when do you pick back up in Salinas?
We start midweek of the 6th, so about maybe it would be next week, the week after next week, so 2
All
weeks
right.
roughly, I believe.
About 2 weeks. All right. Well, I can only speak from my own experience. Those opening days where you're trying to kind of build those relationships with students, one of these guided activities would be a great opportunity for you to kind of share with your students and see if it engages them. I can speak to my 8th graders who, if any of you know 8th grade math or remember something like linear systems of equations, it was engaging them. They made Pythagorean theorem graphics that they enjoyed collaborating on. So I assure you this is something that will engage your students.
I have another question. Is it possible to import fonts from something that the students make into Adobe Express, or is it only the fonts that Adobe has on their website?
I want to say that it's the fonts here. Other aspects of the Creative Cloud, you can import fonts, but I will follow up. I'm going to write that question down, Jamie, so that I
Okay.
can kind of find out, okay? And
Okay,
then
perfect.
I can let Jen know if that's actually not the case, because I want to say no. I want to say no. Let me see. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I will check in about that. All right, so this is for Jamie. Jamie, is it Jamie or Jaime?
Jaime.
Jaime, my apologies for before.
It's fine.
All right.
It's totally fine. I'm used to that because some people in my life have called me Jamie or Jaime. It depends. So I've just
I want
gotten
to get it right. I was in multilingual and bilingual classrooms throughout the entirety of my teaching career before being an ed tech coach, and I take that very seriously. So I got you on Jaime moving ahead. I appreciate that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Because I have a lesson plan for students where they make their own font and then they can then use it for other projects. So I'm wondering if it's possible to import a font, because I wouldn't use this lesson before they make their own font, because then they can utilize it.
I understand, and I love that idea. That's very creative, and it'll give kids real agency because it's got to be readable, it's got to be accessible. So I really love that idea. I'm going to ask about importing fonts, and I will try to have Jen get back to you with regard to the answer on that. Okay, Jaime?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Awesome, you got it. All right, we're down to about 4 minutes, 15 seconds. Lorenzo, I love it. You could definitely have some step-by-step instructions available to your students in multiple languages. And before I show you how to kind of share this graphic, I'm going to show you how to translate it. And probably some of you, if you just kind of look around the Adobe Express workspace, you'll probably see the translate icon right now. But I don't want to overwhelm anybody out there. We'll get to that near the end of the timer. But at the very least, we're going to show you how to share your design as a link, if you wanted to kind of have it as a hyperlink, or if you want to download it as a PNG or other format, we can show you that as well. One more time, just for anybody saying, you know, I don't like the background that it came up with. Click on your image, click on that dog in the top left corner that has those gray and white little boxes that represents a transparent background. And Lorenzo, thank you for that idea. I love that idea. And now you can see that that background is kind of gone, that little gradient that I had working in teal. If anybody out there is very big into SEL, I would assume that's probably a focus from like the top down, because every school district I've been in, people are like, SEL, we've got to really hone in on that and really focus on that as a great, you know, kind of cornerstone of making sure kids are well mentally and emotionally. You can definitely do the next step that I'm going to show you to kind of share an affirmation or share gratitude and just really create something dynamic. So this really is any content area, any grade level. I mean, you know, kindergartners probably be a bit too much. But again, first graders, firsthand, in my case, we had kids create AI animals around the holiday season last year. And then they did a mouth-only character animate, which we're going to show you probably in about 10 minutes. And they were able to say what they were most grateful for, whether it be their family, their teachers, food, etc. So you have a lot of great options. It's really, the only limitation is your own imagination and how you kind of fit it in with creativity. And you know your kids best. I mean, I know that my kids were engaged with this stuff. You know, do you think the kids that you've taught in previous years, if you shared this with them compared to something similar, would they want to participate? Would they be giving you their best and showing good pride in work? I hope the answer is yes out there. So I've changed the text up top, the year, the text on the bottom right, and my name, okay? Now, I would love to have somebody share, and I am more than happy to have someone take over the screen share. Would love to have somebody share their example at this point, but I am not going to force anybody. I'm not sure Adobe was giving away swag for attendees who really participated. I've already got some rock stars in here clearly, but if anybody would like to share their screen to kind of display their graphic, you are not interrupting me. Feel free to do so, and I'd love to see what you're doing. If not, I understand. And Adobe has just changed it. We're back in the day, they were using another platform to kind of curate responses. We're not doing that anymore. So I would love to be able to see what you're creating, but no pressure out there. Hey, here we go. All right. Let me see if I could stop my share. Let's pause that. Okay. Hopefully that worked. Hopefully. I think you just might have to change tabs. I believe this is Jaime. I think you just got to switch to tabs to the Express one, my friend. Wow, that looks awesome. I really appreciate that. And I like how you not only moved the bubble around, but you also rotated it. Fantastic job. Loved it. That's another first. I've never seen somebody make that into a speech bubble that kind of came from the side. The timer just went off. I'm being fully real with everybody out there. But please take a couple more seconds to put some finishing touches on. And I assure you, and Jaime, I love that you shared that. Thanks for taking that leap. Looked great. You did a wonderful job. Love the neon colors as well.
Perfect. Let me just turn.
You're good. You're perfect. Okay. So hopefully you're very proud of your animated graphic, your animated bobblehead doll that we just completed. You're not done with this. We're actually going to go back into this design. So you're more than welcome to keep this tab open. I just want to show everybody, like, let's say you decide, you know what? I want this to be on the outside of my classroom door. Now, high school kids, do I think that they might? It automatically saves, Delvina, and I hope I've gotten your name correct. It automatically saves with Adobe's cloud kind of service. So you're all good on that. Don't worry about having to do any manual saves. Of course, and I'm glad to hear I got the name right. So you are going to have these options to now download this. Now, before we do that, I kind of slightly challenged everybody to say, hey, do you all see that translate button within this space? Let's say that you wanted to have this version outside of your door, but you also wanted to have a Spanish version or Portuguese, or I've got students in my district who speak Ukrainian. What you can do is select this translate icon that is right above your page, kind of middle left. It's the translate page button. And I'm sure some people have used translators out there with maybe other design tools. What really separates Adobe Express is the fact that you can select more than one language at a time. Okay, so let's say that I wanted to do Spanish, Portuguese, and traditional Chinese. I believe that's Mandarin, I think. Don't hold me to that. And then I select translate. And I'm sure we have many multilingual and bilingual learners in our classroom. Flat out, it's the thing I'm most passionate about as an educator still now. The demographics in my district currently, many Spanish and Portuguese speaking students and families, everything I do is translated. So what's really great, again, about Adobe Express is you now have 3 separate versions that were created in about 5 seconds, where we have Spanish, okay? And it's been a while since I've kind of done Spanish, but to me, that's looking pretty good to me. That's actually looking, I know the juega al golf. I know that that is correct, and please do not hold my accent against me. I used to use my Spanish a lot more. It's not good right now. I'm trying. Now you have Portuguese, and then finally, I mean, that is official. I feel like this could almost be on a subway in China because it looks like that kind of aesthetic, so to speak. So if nothing else today, while I hope we bring this to our kids and they are engaged and they're loving everything about this, if nothing else, you have a flyer that you're creating with Adobe Express. You have back to school night and you want to make your flyer, your materials, something for your families to scan that is accessible to everybody. Use that translate feature to the fullest. I can only share that with you to the highest degree. I would highly recommend using that with your students and their families if you have multilingual learners involved. Okay. So at this point, I'm going back to my purely English version right here. You can click on the share button and then go view only link if you want to do that. So if you wanted to like share this as a hyperlink, you didn't want to attach it to something, you could do that and click view only link and then go create link. But to me, I would say, considering you just created a graphic, I would say what would be most appropriate is clicking this download button to the left of share. Okay? Now, for whatever reason, this one defaults to PDF. So I would recommend clicking this drop down and going PNG. That's the one that's going to give you the best resolution for this graphic. I'm going to select download. And you will see, actually you don't, unfortunately, because I'm sharing a window. With whatever browser you're using, within that download section, you are now going to have your graphic available to you. So one more time, just to be as clear as I can. This was that creation phase. This was, we've done the I do. Now it's you do. You've done that kind of cursory level. You've redesigned this graphic. But now we want to get that reflective piece in. We want to make the learning stick. We want to show what we learned within this activity, or share how this could impact our students in classrooms. Now, I will say this really quickly. I do believe we're still giving away swag. So what I just did was I dropped my email into the chat. if anybody has a design that they would like to share with me, whether it be a link or a download, please email it to me. And if you do, I will do everything I can to try to get you some swag from Adobe and Adobe for Education. So feel free to email me, isaacsedtech@gmail.com. Any of the creation that you made today, I would love to see what you create, follow up with you, kind of bounce ideas off of each other, anything you need with regard to Adobe Express. So I've got my graphic downloaded. That's your static graphic. And now we're going to talk about something that's going to turn this into a video, so to speak. So I'm going to keep this tab open at this point. Let's close this down. And I'm going to go back into this Getting Started web page. So just so that everybody's on the same page quickly, if we closed out a tab or anything, I just dropped it one more time into the chat. And now we're going to talk about recording audio. Okay, so really 3 different ways to do so, maybe 4 if you consider uploading audio. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take, hopefully, those lovely bobblehead doll graphics, and we're going to make them come to life. Now, what I'm showing you today, one of the aspects, one of the different options is what I did with that group of first graders earlier around holiday times this school year. So what I can tell you is, as long as you get 2 options correct on this animate character, you're going to be all set, and kids are going to be going nuts for what this provides them in the world of creativity. So we're going to now make thinking visible by adding an audio reflection of your learning. In the same graphic, you can record a voiceover or animate characters. And one of the most recent features that was added to Adobe Express is the ability to record yourself with video. So a front-facing camera has just been added to Adobe Express as well. And I'm going to show you each of the 3 different ways. And then same thing as before. I'm going to give you ample time to explore these tools and kind of now elevate your design to the next level. So everyone can kind of be thinking about, what would I want to reflect on? What would be a good prompt for this? You know, how can this impact my students' learning? How has this activity inspired me? You know, what is another activity that I want to take a look at under those guided activities? Those are all ideas that I'll drop in the chat once we get to the create part of uploading these video elements. So we're going to go back in to our action figures, okay? And you can see again, did that kind of wobbly deal. It got a little wild, you know, going back and forth and kind of leaving the 19th hole, was loving it. I believe it was Lorenzo, so really enjoyed that piece. But now I want to actually make it where I'm adding my voice to this design. So we're going to go over to the left side, and we're going to select the media button. This is the button that is right above text and just below templates. So you're going to click on media. And the first option I'm going to show you is the new front-facing camera. Select the videos tab in the top left corner under media. And then, pretty self-explanatory, you will see the record yourself along with that icon of a camera to kind of clue you in on this, that this is what we want to be selecting. And what you'll now see is my rectangular box of me kind of speaking. And now you actually get to see my very bland tan background. Please don't hold it against me. I'm actually not in a virtual classroom like that. So all you have to do here, you see your microphone underneath. You have kind of different settings as far as which microphone, which camera you're tapping into. I can hit start recording. I absolutely love this activity to get my year started. Click stop recording. You can then preview that recording right here. Now, of course, you probably don't hear me talking there, but I assure you, as long as your mic is connected and all that, you should be fine. Click save recording. And now if I really wanted to provide that video reflection, I could now kind of pinch in, add myself right here. And now what you'll notice underneath is you'll see I have this play button now, where if I hit that, you will now see once again that ability for that video to be playing within my design. So you have students create a presentation, allow them to use that video recording tool to reflect on their learning and provide those kind of summarizing type of reflections that allow them to really make thinking stick. That's one great option. So one more time really quickly, under media, go to videos, and then select record yourself. Let's say you have some shy students that would be more comfortable simply recording their voice. Go to audio and now select record voiceover. This one's a little bit more simple. It's strictly your microphone, how high you're talking. So I'm actually going to try to stop talking where the red is coming in. I'm probably shouting at everyone and you're having to turn your volume down. So I'm going to try to take that down a notch. One thing about that enhanced speech option, you know, some of our kids, they might not have the best devices with internal microphones that might not be quite, you know, running the best these days. That enhanced speech option gives you more studio-like quality sound without any type of attachments or downloads or anything like that. So I would always recommend kind of keeping that on. You're going to click start recording. You'll get a countdown. I absolutely loved creating my new action bobblehead. Click stop recording. I hope that yours does not go completely blank. This is kind of scaring me a little bit, but I'm simply going to wait here. And now I'm going to try refreshing. And hopefully everything comes back. So what's going to happen now is that enhanced speech option, if you turn it on from the get-go, it's going to be automatically applied. If you don't, you can do it after the fact. So for whatever reason, something happened with the rest of my design after bringing in the audio. It looks like a simple refresh brought it back. And now again, you can see that I have that play button underneath available to me. Okay, so that's kind of how we do it. Now, if you want to get into a little bit more detailed video editing now, you can click on the three dots and select Edit Timeline. And now you see something a little bit more commensurate with a video editor where I can drag that video portion a little bit more to the right. I can move my voice kind of voiceover that I added in wherever I like. And again, I can now hit play. I assure you my voice is playing through there again. We got those different account sharing tabs. So that's your second way. Okay, you can now simply do a voiceover. That's your other way of getting audio in. Now, the other option, this is the third, it would be upload from device. Let's say you have an MP3 file from your phone that you did a voice memo and you uploaded it onto your computer. I believe it's up to 2 minutes long. You can actually upload your audio. Let's see if that's accurate. No, it doesn't show. All right. I believe it's up to 2 minutes. But I'm going to delete this voiceover that I did. And now if you were kind of, you know, grabbing a little bit of a bite to eat or kind of doing some primping and preening on your own design, this is the spot where I would recommend everybody kind of tunes back in. You're also going to see under videos and audio, this animate characters button right here. I would tell everybody to click on this one who feels comfortable wanting to try this new tool. Okay. And once you go in, under the character option, under this character tab, you're going to click and you're going to scroll down and make sure you select mouth only. Okay, and you should see those 9 options underneath. So I'm going to give everybody a moment. One more time for anybody who's kind of a little bit behind. Under media, choose videos or audio and then select animate characters beta. Make sure under character you select mouth only. And the very important thing is that background is set to transparent. Okay, that's very important because without that, you're going to have a background on your mouth and that's not what we're looking for. Because what we're doing here, if we don't understand at this point, is this is going to come in as a transparent mouth that is fully interactive with my voice. Okay, and it's going to do your voice as well. Again, this would be the one that I would recommend for you to try once I'm done chatting here. You can then click on it, change the size of it. The really important thing is that it's within the square over on the left side. Okay, so you can see everything's looking good right here. It does look like it's up to 2 minutes and 1 gigabyte for uploading. So if you wanted to upload audio into this, you could do that too. I'm going to toggle on enhanced speech and I'm going to click record one more time. You'll get the countdown. Hi, everyone. This is Alex, and I'm so excited to be coming at you as a bobblehead action figure. Hit done. You'll get these very pleasant, aesthetically pleasing little prompts over on the right side. Now, again, considering the amount of people probably using this, the brevity, the amount of short time that it takes for this to be completed. Now you see exporting. And I'm so bummed I don't think I can share audio with you all, but you're going to see it firsthand, hopefully. So I'm going to zoom in for everybody now. You could see that I've got that little mouth kind of showing at this point. So I can now kind of move that over the mouth of my character. And you can see that I'm kind of getting hit on those guidelines. That's okay. I think that that's kind of close enough at this point. Let's bring him down a little bit more. That looks like a good smiling face right along the mouth line. And now you'll see, now here's one thing. This is the one kind of challenging part before I let you all go, and I promise you're going to have plenty of time. You see how part of this mouth is kind of blurred out here on the right side? That is because the mouth, my talking was longer than the duration of the graphic. There's a default graphic length in anything that you add audio to. All you have to do now is go underneath to the graphic kind of rectangle, go to the right, and drag it all the way to the right where that mouth is now fully filled in. Okay, now again, I know we're not going to be able to hear it, but hopefully in a moment you will be on your own devices, but I will show you that. Let me put the volume really high. We'll see what happens. All right, you'll see my mouth is moving. It's actually lip synced with what I said before. Probably still not coming through with the audio. I apologize, but that is where, regardless of your content area, have kids create a character or bring in a character that already has a mouth built in and have them be in a famous portion of history, providing their reflection, their perspective if they were there in the moment, getting those higher levels of creativity kind of flowing with our students. So at this point, considering you're going to be recording your voice if you're participating along with me, I'm going to really try to be quiet, barring any questions coming in. But before I really let you kind of have another 15 minutes, 20 minutes to kind of work on your audio adding to this, you're under media, and you're either going under the video or audio tabs, okay? Those are going to be your options to either record yourself, animate a mouth with a character, or record a voiceover. If anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm going to give you all 15 minutes to continue working on your bobblehead doll graphic, now turning it into a actual voiceover video. I'll give you a pro tip in about maybe 10 minutes that can really elevate the way the mouth looks on your character. And some people might find it kind of creepy, depending on what context you use it. I'll be anxious to hear what you have to say. All right, 15 minutes on the clock. I'm holding it up and my phone's kind of being erased. Good luck, everybody. Let me know if I can help, and I'm going to be quiet now. I'm actually pulling up that summer safety template just so you could see I'm practicing what I preach with the kids in my district over here in New Jersey. Anybody wants to know how to bring up those video editing bars one more time, click on those three dots under page actions in the bottom right corner and select edit timeline. You should then see your audio. And if anybody wants to bring in music, I'm trying to talk quietly if anyone's recording. Go over to media, click on the audio tab, and then you could search through all these different ones that are pre-selected underneath or search for a different style. And all you have to do is click on it and it'll be brought in automatically. Jaime, I don't think you can do that. I think you can speak in another language. But as far as that would go, okay, so what you could do is you could caption the video if you were speaking in English and then translate the captions. You could do that, but no audio translator at this point built into that Adobe Express tool. It's a great idea, but not quite yet. For any world language teachers out there, I did have a attendee speak in French, and the lip syncing was very good. So just throwing that out there. Delvina, in order to add audio, no, it'll probably just kind of be overlapping. You'll have to kind of maneuver the little bars underneath to kind of where you want them to be playing. So you should have like different green colored bars underneath. As far as being able to add the different types of audio, just click on media, then audio. You can record a voiceover or go animate characters as far as that goes. So it will not remove your voiceover. It'll just be a matter of kind of moving the portion of the mouth and the voiceover to be separate, so to speak. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to give everybody about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to show you a very next level kind of option if you really want to make that mouth look extraordinarily clean on your bobblehead doll. This is something that I've done before, especially with different types of animal figures that I've created in the past. Sure, Delvina. So the reason why it might only be partially playing, I would recommend kind of going underneath and making sure that this graphic rectangle that's underneath, this sidebar to the right is pulled all the way to the right of any audio that you have above or below, okay? Ernesto, I'm going to get to your question in one moment. So make sure that you click and drag that rectangle of your graphic kind of underneath and make sure that all of that sound is visible and not kind of grayed out, okay? Let me know if you need anything. Ernesto, if you share, some need access granted. So Ernesto, if you were to share this design, Delvina, let me know if you need anything else, okay? So if you were to share this design, Delvina, go ahead. Please hop off of mute or drop your question in the chat. Go right ahead, and then I'll answer Ernesto. And Ernesto, what you're looking at is the share button. I just clicked the share to the left of a sign, okay? So adding people to edit, that's if you want to like collaborate. So if you wanted to have like people in your class kind of collaborate with you or people on your team collaborate with you, you can add them specifically by typing their name in right here up top. But that view only link, as long as you create it, that's going to allow everybody to be able to access the design and view it appropriately without any blocks, okay? Delvina, I still see that you have your hand up. You don't have the animation bar at the bottom of the page. I only have 4 squares. Okay, so Delvina, are you talking about like when you are clicking? I don't have the animation bar at the bottom of the page. I have only the 4 squares. So you're talking about when you're under media, Delvina? Because if so, it could mean that you're not on your educator account, okay? And I can show you how to change that in a moment. I think that's what you're saying. So Delvina, if that is the case, go up to your profile picture in the top right corner. And this is for anybody. You ever have kids that don't have access to stuff or you're not accessing stuff, go to the top right corner, click on account, and then go to manage account. Or excuse me, I'm sorry. Let me go back. Go to settings. And then scroll down and make sure you have I'm an educator toggled on, because if you have it as none of the above or I'm a student, you might get a little bit not correct access to everything. Delvina, I hope that that helps if that's what you were kind of asking me. All right. So here's what I'm doing now. I'm going to zoom in a bit and you'll still have a little bit more time. I'm not going to kind of take these last 2 minutes away from you. I'm going to pause the timer at the moment. You can see that I've moved my mouth that's smiling out in no man's land at this point. So let's say that you're extra, okay? I'm kind of extra in certain cases. This is actually not too bad Delvina, you keep me posted, okay? As soon as we get back to letting everybody work and once we set up classrooms, I'm happy to stick around and try to walk you through it, okay? You kind of see that I've got this mouth underneath. Now, if your mouth is not that invasive, it's not that prominent, you don't have to worry about this. This is probably me just going above and beyond. But you can go to elements over on the left side, okay? And you can then go over to shapes. And you can click on draw shape. And I've found that the asphalt option does a very nice job of this. So you'll see that when you click one of these draw shape options, you now get this crosshair over on your design. I'm going to zoom in one more time for you. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of color in. And you know what? Let's do this. Let's make it a little bit bigger of a circle. I'm going to now color in those lips underneath. Right now, it almost looks like he's taped his mouth shut, okay? And now I know what you're thinking. It's black. It doesn't look right. It looks like he's got like tar on his face or something like that. I'm going to hit done. And now that is actually an object that can be moved, that can be edited, including changing its color. So I'm going to click on that color box over on the left side, click on my dropper, and I'm going to try to find that skin color of mine and put it right on that and click on it. So again, that mustache is kind of prominent. I'm going to bring this down a bit, maybe shrink it slightly. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Okay, we'll take that. And now I'm going to put that mouth back over. Now you can see the layering is a little bit off. This is going to be the last bit that I kind of share with you as far as a strategy within a design right now. If you want to get something to a different layer, click on these squares in the top right corner that say layers. And now, the further down you drag something, the further back it goes. So all I have to do now is take my mouth, drag it up, and now boom, I've got that mouth right over that little drawn in space. And now there are no lips. So I'm sure some of you are like, that's too much what you just shared with us. I hope maybe that's like, oh, that's fun. Now it can really look like it's really its own mouth. Because now if you look, it's a whole new level of accurate for this little character right here. So I'm going to keep the timer going again, hit that play button. We got about 2.5 minutes left. Feel free to put the finishing touches on your reflection piece, whether it be uploading audio, video, or an animate character mount. All right, we'll freeze him right there. He's got the side mouth right there. All right. And then we'll have about 45 minutes left to kind of take a look at some stuff. Good. Delvina, how we doing out there? Did that setting. So I think what's happening is that it still has translated pages open. Okay, it could be that, where if you see them underneath other rectangles of your graphic, all you have to do is simply click on the 3 dots. Or excuse me, click on the little rectangle part and hit delete, and it should get erased, okay? Could be possible. But again, as far as a kickoff activity for kids, I think that this would really engage them, even if it's something else where they're doing their mouth. You know what I mean? And I do admit it. I one time took a picture of my fiance Lois and blurred out her mouth and then did a mouth talking, put an eye patch on her, turned her into a pirate Lois. You know, that's kind of how I roll. So hoping everybody is enjoying these audio and video tools that Adobe Express offers. Again, kids have lit up legitimately in front of me when I've shown them this mouth only and character animate option. So I hope you take advantage of this one with your kids. For anybody who might be thinking, hey, you know, maybe I do want to print this out and put it up on my wall, I would definitely recommend downloading it as a PDF in that case. So one more time, if we're not doing the mouth portion, it was just the graphic, you can click download and then go PDF print, best for printing. Okay. You can also make very dynamic GIFs with this tool. Oh, timer just went off. Okay, I'm going to still give everybody about 1 more minute to kind of finalize. We'll be at about 2:30 with 45 minutes to close out and show you how to actually create a class and really search for a template that's appropriate for you. Before I kind of show you how you can share this design, if you go back to the Adobe Express homepage, which you don't have to do, you could just follow along right now on my screen. And I apologize for continuously looking to kind of the right. I have a dual screen setup to try to make it where I still have the chat available to me. Another aspect that kind of relates directly to, and just for the record, the Educator Resources tab, the ones that are furthest to the left are the newest. They're the newest created ones. I mean, there's a personalized name tent one. I remember having kids do that by hand. You could print these for kids. If you really want to get fancy, you could print them in color. But the other one that kind of relates directly to doing this mouth-only move beyond the bobblehead is this animate a creative creature, where you can bring a mouth onto your own little animated monster. And that's another fun one that I've seen kids have a great time with. Okay. I got to say, this action figure, I'm very proud of this one because I really do feel like it's looking like me. Any golfers in the chat? Anybody hitting up any of the nice golf courses out there? I used to play very well, not anymore. No time. All right. So hopefully you have some component of audio or video. If you don't, that's okay. We have those kind of static graphics already available to us. My hope is that you will use this animate character with your kids. But now what you will see is when I click on that download button, you now have that option to do an MP4. Okay, so now I can click MP4, select download, and it's automatically going to download into whatever browsers section that I have ready to go, or just simply in the download section on your computer, unless you've assigned another destination. So you can see that it's 20% complete. You actually don't have to stay on this tab. You can even create a new design while you're waiting, but I'm going to give it till the end. We're at 90%. And now, again, you're not seeing the pop-up on my Google Chrome, but it is there. It would then be available for me to share as an attachment. You know, I know school is around the corner for everybody, depending on our age group. How about welcoming kids to class with a video like this within your LMS, whether that be Google Classroom, Schoology, Canvas, whatever you're using? I think that that would be a great welcome. You know, the more that I did with my voice to show my personality with my kids, it really went a long way for them to kind of have buy-in and want to do a bit more for me in a math class that was at times very challenging. So I really can tell you that if the kids have the devices that are effective enough to run, you know, these types of next level animate character deals, it's going to really make these kids want to participate in your class to start off the school year. So what were your top 3 highlights from your summer? You could do that with a video reflection. Really, it's up to you. You know, what is your favorite part of history? If you're a history teacher, what's one aspect from previous years that would allow you to really be successful in my class? You could do that as almost like a time capsule for future classes as an end of the year activity as well. So again, just to really point out, you do have that option of downloading it. You can also go to share and create that view only link if you wanted to add it for people to view as a hyperlink. Okay. Any questions out there while we get into the final portion of this session? I hope it's been going quick for you all and it's not dragging. I know I've talked a lot. I've got 1 more after this and then 2 tomorrow. By the end of this, hopefully the voice is still intact. Okay. So we have created our action figure bobblehead doll. We've hopefully added some form of voice reflection, or just at least voice or video reflection, or just some fun audio to our design. And now we're going to show you how to set up your own class. So that's really the bottom line. We're in the end of our session here. I've shown you, in my opinion, some very engaging, dynamic, and fun tools within Adobe Express. I can speak from my own experience saying that children that I have taught with these tools have become very engaged, very excited to have me come in and use this platform with them as a result of all it offers to them in the creative field. So without really next steps, making this actionable, it kind of can fall by the wayside a little bit. And we can get into that minutia of starting off the school year and wanting our kids to like us and getting rules in place and all of that. So it's really kind of important where we're going to set up classes today for you. So can anybody tell me Google Classroom as our LMS, or is it something else out in Salinas, out in the different schools in Salinas County? All right. Awesome. Thank you, Delvine. I appreciate that. So what's really nice is that Google does have its own integration within creating classes. So I'm on the main homepage at this point. And what you're going to do is go over to the left side, and below your stuff and above brands, you're going to see classrooms. Click on that right there. And now you're simply going to click Create Class. Now, the only required piece of this is the class name. So I'm going to go Isaac's Math Block. Actually, we'll keep the block for the period. Okay, so Isaac's Math. I like doing the math twice because you'll see in a moment when you select one of the subjects underneath, it actually creates a tile that's themed based on that content area. And I'm going to go back to my grade 8 roots. And I'm going to say that this is block 1. So I'll say B1. And now if you want to add co-teachers, you've got your in-class support. You've got a bilingual teacher in class with you. You can add them as a co-teacher by simply clicking right there and then entering their emails. So I'm going to hit save. And now you will see that you have this code available to you. Now, what you'll also see, considering Delvina let me know that Google Classroom is your LMS, you can now simply click on that Google Classroom piece. And unfortunately for me, you're not going to get any classes for me. A pop-up just happened on my end. But you will be able to import a roster by continuing with Google. If for some reason that is not working effectively for you, all you have to do is select this copy class invite link and paste that within Google Classroom for your students. Okay? And then what's going to happen is, as you create an assignment, students' current design status is going to kind of be populating in front of your face. Now, in addition to that, if you would like to get some really engaging digital gallery walks between kids up and running, you can go back to, we can now create an assignment and toggle on one option. Now, I want to share this. There are 2 ways of assigning a template and activity to our students. The first way is, let's say that I'm in on this template. Okay, I'm back to my design template right here, and I say, okay, I like this one. I want my kids to start from mine. I want them to start from the design that I created, okay? I can go to that assign button in the top right corner. It'll automatically give you an assignment title. And now you can see, now that I have that one class, it's only going to go to that one. It's ready to be assigned to my block 1 grade 8 math period class, okay? So once you feel good about that, this option underneath that says gallery, what the class gallery does is it allows students to see each other's work. Names will be displayed. Do I think that an option needs to be added in where you can anonymize students? Yes, I do. Do I think we should have it where you can have a choice whether you want to share it? Sure. But for now, it will show a student name and it will show their graphic where students and teachers can then provide feedback within a comment section on that design. So you know your kids best. Again, it's your discretion. You know your kids can handle it. You know that they're going to be communicating with one another meaningfully while looking at each other's designs. I love turning on that gallery. Okay, and once you feel like those settings are set up, you got a good name for it, you can go create link. And now you'll get this very nice pop-up that says your assignment is live in Adobe Express. You want to share this assignment directly within your Google Classroom, you have that option underneath right there, okay? Now this is almost like a demo screen. So anybody who's turned in their design will be in blue. Anybody who's in progress, purple, returned, where you've given feedback or you're asking people to make edits, that's green. And then not started, kind of drawing our attention to it, will be red. Okay, and I've seen this firsthand. It's been very helpful with me kind of keeping track of where students are pace-wise. And then you can click on that view gallery once students have turned in their work, and you will have everything in one space for students to kind of go back and forth on. Okay, so that's the one way to assign a template or activity within the actual activity. While you're in on that design, simply click on that assign purple button in the top right corner. Okay, now let's refresh and make sure that that assignment is still there. There it is. Okay, so we still got the action figure, and even though it kind of looks like that, it should be my one that I kind of edited. The other way to do this is to click on the create assignment right here. And again, I'm just going to go sample task. Please complete this activity. Again, these are optional. You can set a due date if you do it this way. And again, the more options button with the way I showed you earlier would have pulled all of this up for you. So don't worry about it. This is assigning from the class. You don't have to set a due date, but I guess for our purposes, I'm going to go, what just happened there? Okay. I'm going to go 7/28/2025. And you can see I've got my math class selected. I'm going to turn the gallery on. And now you have the choice of either going to your stuff, which is your files, or into project types. What this is it's going to just simply bring up a template of what you want students to create. It's going to bring up different options on the left side that they can choose from. It's not actually going to have a design created for them. So this is where you're giving them templates to choose from, and it's kind of just a blank space. You have anything from recording themselves, animate character, generating images, to something as far as a web page portfolio or a poster, infographic, presentation, etc. So you have all different options to create your classes and then assign dynamic work within one space. So probably threw a lot at you there one more time. I would love for us to take a little bit of time, at least 10 minutes, to kind of now create at least one class. Now, maybe you don't have your classes yet. You're about 2 weeks out from the new school year. You might have your classes at this point, your schedule at the very least. You know, you don't have to add your students now. You can always just create your class and then add them after the fact once you get that Google LMS up and running. So I'll very quickly run through it one more time, and then I'm going to let you all work for a little bit before we close out for the session today. So from the classrooms icon over on the left side, go create class, type in its name. I'm going to go English this time. You'll see the difference in the tiles. Let's go grade 8. And we'll go B2 in this case. Click save. And that's why, even though I wrote the subject in the class name to kind of give me that reminder, what's really nice now is if I go back to classrooms, you could see that it kind of pre-populates, actually an animated version when you hover over it, of this content area you chose. So some really great options available to you right here as well. Okay, so I'm going to give everybody some time to create at least one of their classes or sections or blocks or whatever you're calling it. If you've already created your class and we're waiting on other individuals to complete this task, feel free to go back into your design from before. Feel free to email me your design right now if you like and you've created your class, or explore one of these other amazing guided activities underneath if you like. There are some science ones, math, ELA, all available to you to kind of explore. This Create a Portrait Masterpiece is so new, I haven't even checked it out yet. This is like within the last day. So it looks like a really cool option to get kids to be creative as well. I'm here if you have any questions for me, but I'm going to throw 10 minutes on the clock to create your class, and hopefully email me some of those wonderful designs I know some of us were working on. All right, timer on the clock. Anybody has any issues with setting up their classroom, please let me know. One other thing to consider, I do like putting emojis into class names sometimes, so I kind of have that association as well. Anybody on a Mac, you can hit that function button in the bottom left corner to pull up the emoji options for you. Not sure about a Windows device, but I do know about a website called Emoji Copy that allows you to copy any emoji into your space. So you can always add an emoji. I'll show you right now. You can always go edit of a class. And now considering this is a math class, let's say that I want to kind of make it more stand out. I could type in math, bring in that abacus, and click save. And now you can see that it's just a little bit more identifiable. So if we're not already using emojis with our instructions, our bullet points, stuff like that, it's a great option that I saw impact my kids positively back in the day. And what I'll do is I will pull up. So I have the version that I created of my action figure from when it was actually the challenge. So this was my Alex action figure bobblehead doll. And I want to point out something. I added a dog tag with bling. I had to try it, which is another generative AI option within Adobe Express. So you could see it was October. I was going for a fall theme. These are really great options to kind of get our kids engaged right out of the gates for our school year. Again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. Anyone wants to share a design, you can email me. I'll drop my email in the chat once more, or feel free to share your screen. And for any middle school math teachers out there, if you want to email me, I'd be happy to share my resources with you if you like. Still have plenty of time to share designs at the end. I know that we have like a post-survey reflection. And again, shameless plug, if anybody wants to learn more of the video editing component, I've got another session going at, I guess, 1 p.m. Western, 4 p.m. Eastern. But really great group. Really appreciate everybody engaged and participating. Hope you're enjoying these designs and finding the Create class setup fairly easy. I've got to say, I'm very skilled with many platforms, ed tech, all that kind of stuff. This is a very easy, low learning curve as far as setting up a classroom that can become very dynamic with those galleries if you choose to enable those. So hopefully we're almost good setting up our class and assigning something to our class. You can always delete the assignment if you find something new that you feel would be more appropriate. For any upper elementary and middle school teachers out there, I think assigning this personalized name tent would be an excellent idea for you to kind of get started with your kids. And if you have a color printer around, I think that would be the ultimate. And then card stock, oh boy. Getting to know exactly what makes your kids tick, and then it's staring you in the face as you walk around the room in that first, couple weeks. Some really great options here. Another thing for some high school teachers out there, something that I did with my kids was for an environmental injustice project, I had students make their like own PSA for something like the Flint, Michigan water crisis and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, you can go into those more niche type of classes too. It doesn't have to just be main content areas. You have some great options that you can assign to your kids. I mean, if anybody's teaching the solar system, this design a planet travel brochure would be such a dynamic, fun activity to do with kids. I wish I had all of these when I was still in the classroom. Some of these were, you know, brand new. I was doing a lot of original templates with my kids before guided activities came out. Another one that I can recommend to everybody out there, this is the finished product. These are Adobe's identity graphics. This is a very low learning curve activity to get started with as a getting to know you activity as well. So the original activity from the guided activities tab. Actually, let's go here. Okay. There he is. So the design an all about me graphic. This is another excellent getting to know you activity where if you're under educator resources, you can find this one and then just simply go that assign and share it with your students to get to know them. And again, this is where the background remover comes into play and they can replace themselves or replace Adrian with themselves in the middle of this graphic. So great option for getting to know you. And again, back to school night coming up early on in your school year, having these all printed for a bulletin board. Oh, I can only imagine what parents and guardians would think walking around those hallways. They'd probably be ecstatic to see that. So be a great opportunity to kind of just get to know your kids and have them be engaged right out of the gates. All right, we've got about 2 minutes left to create our class and hopefully having enough confidence in this platform and what I've shared today to go, you know what, I'm going to now assign this activity to my kids. I want to start the year off with giving them this creative opportunity. Some great options here. Again, more recent are top left or all the way to the left. Those are the most recent design opportunities. I will also say that when it comes time for around the holidays, the 12 days of creativity are some excellent options to engage your students as well. You know, sometimes you got to be a little bit careful with those denominational holidays with your kids, but if you have that leeway, some really great opportunities for them to be creative around that winter break. All right, what do we got? 10 seconds left. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing okay out there. Let me pull the chat back up. All right. How's the pace been? Have I done okay on the pace? Can anybody drop an emoji or a, good or anything like that? Have I done enough with the pace to, thank you, Eduardo. I appreciate that. I hope I haven't lost anybody. I was really trying to keep it in mind today. I hope you found this engaging in addition to understandable, because the New York, New Jersey accent, I assure you, it can get dicey very often. Okay. So we've hopefully created our classrooms. If you now go over to that classroom option, you should see the ones you created. Thank you, Delvine. I appreciate all the thumbs up from everybody out there. I hope everyone feels this way. I've kind of gone over some activity types that I would really recommend. One more time, I think the name tent, I think the video reflection, if you want your kids to kind of reflect on their summer and kind of share more about themselves. But again, use your discretion. Think of something that would be engaging for your kids once you get to know them a little bit. I think that bobblehead doll, the animated creative creature, all of these different things would engage your students and take a little bit off your plate in the form of, oh gosh, what do I do? I do remember vividly, I might be technically a supervisor these days and maybe admin. I hope I don't come across that way in any way, shape, or form. But I'll always be a teacher in the form of, I remember just wanting my kids to be engaged and like me, hopefully. Those were the two goals starting off, not overwhelming them with rules. It was always ready, responsible, and respectful, the 3 R's. But this is a platform that's going to allow you to have kids' interest peaked. They're going to be like, well, I wonder how I could use this. And one last thing, I know we were using generative AI before. Any prompt that could be construed as inappropriate, even if it's really not, it will kick it back. You will not get generated images, and you'll get this little red bit of text that says, cannot generate this image. Please try revising your prompt, or something along those lines. So I always like to kind of say it's like generative AI with safeguards built in. And for any bowlers out there, it's like bumper bowling. You can't go in the gutter. You're actually going to maintain that good, respectful type of behavior simply because the AI will not generate anything inappropriate. So I would tell you, really get your kids engaged with this pie in the sky type of deal. Kids creating their own monsters or action figures, you printing them out as PDFs, hopefully in color, posting them up on a bulletin board for back to school night. I think that would be amazing. Probably some of you are like, go easy over there, bearded man. But I hope that some of you think about that, because put that agency in the kids' hands, put these tools that are going to allow kids to be creative in their hands. And I think you'll get a lot more out of them this year, especially when you start showing each other their work. When I started not teaching in a block 1 silo, block 2 silo, and everyone was seeing each other's work, they were giving me better pieces, better projects, better assignments. So I encourage you to really kind of think about all these many things that I've shared with you today as ways to engage your students. Okay, so to close out, we got about 20 minutes left. At this point, we have a wide array of content areas, grade levels, and everybody else. I want to make sure to give you time to kind of explore the templates. Now, one thing before I show you specifically the templates tab over on the left side, which we kind of looked at earlier, is if you're ever looking for something very specific, you can go up to this search bar right up top, and you'll see some different common tabs that you can select right here. You'll get some prompt suggestions, but you can also type in anything that you like. So if I wanted to type in geometry and then go search, you will then get templates, photos, videos, backgrounds, design assets, web page templates, and one of the newest different components being offered by Adobe Express, stickers. Now I know what you're saying. These look extraordinarily pixelated and gross. They are perfectly smooth and look great within designs, so you do not have to worry about any pixelation. So all within that search feature, you can then narrow it down. Let's say I only want to look at templates. I can click right there. And that actually brought us into that templates tag. So you could start from that searching everything and then click on templates, or you can simply click on that templates icon over on the left side. And you'll get the most popular templates up top and all of these different search options over on the left. You can also take a look at all of these different tabs up top, whether it be infographics, logos, resumes. Maybe some of you are in like a critical discourse class and you want students to be able to write their resume. This is a great opportunity to have a more stylized version of that. So I'm going to say, I'm not so focused on doing guided activity in this case. I'm going to go student activity. And you can already see all the different options that are coming available to me. Like, look at this empire shift for, I believe, for Rome. I mean, that's pretty nice. I like that. Some of these have AI components in them, others do not. Whenever you see the play button in that bottom left corner, that means that there is either an animation or video component within that template. Another great tip within the template space, before I let you all kind of explore based on all these different options on the left, is if you really like one and you want to kind of come back to it at a later point, simply click on that favorite button, and now will be added to your favorites, which you can view at any time. So you really now are going to be going into that templates tab, going to the subject, and you can even click view more. So you see you have visual art and design along with extracurricular and the 4 main content areas, especially for younger kids. So let's say I'm going strictly for science. You could go by size, even mood of the design. I mean, that is getting very granular. You can really break this down however you like. But for any science teachers out there, for any environmentalism teachers out there, these are presentation templates that are available. These are infographic templates that are available, flyers, anything you need, all available in one easy space. So for about the next maybe 8 minutes, I'm going to let you simply explore the templates tab to maybe find one other thing that's more specific to your content area. And just for the record, you have every right to, instead of student activity, check off guided activity to solely look through the ones that have those video instructions. If you're still feeling, I want to build my confidence a little bit more before assigning something from scratch to my kids or something that doesn't have that video component. So I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to open it up to any questions, any ideas, any shares for the next 8 minutes. And then at that point, I'll close out. I'll drop the reflection link in the chat, and we'll say our goodbyes for the day. Although maybe I'll see some of you later again. We'll see. Please let me know if you need anything. So again, we are on the templates button over on the left side. If you want to put more time into your action figure, feel free. That works for me as well. Jaime, good question. I got to be honest, it's very rare that I have a tech tool that I don't use in my own practice. I would assume there's probably an upload feature with Prezi, Jaime. So I would assume maybe, as long as you were to download your deck as like a PDF or something like that. But unfortunately, I don't believe that there's a direct Prezi to Express or vice versa integration, unfortunately. Delvina, I did get your email. I'm not trying to space out here, anybody. I am checking my phone to see if anybody submitted. Delvina, I absolutely love it. And it's looking like we got some tennis going on there, at least as far as I could tell with the background. Looks great. Love it. Wonderful job. Appreciate you sharing. Oh, Delvina, that made my day. Really hope that it works well for you. You can always keep my email and follow up with me. Let me know how it went with the kiddos. Delvina, I'm sorry, what's your rolling grade level? Or are you multiple grades with like a specialist kind of class? I had a lot of people drop their content areas earlier. I'm 2 hours in. I can't quite remember, unfortunately. But so ecstatic to hear you're planning on taking the leap to kind of kick off the school year with this tool. You've got a lot of great options with this. And I would also assume there's probably some pretty good economics templates built in. So you might even have like a judicial, legislative, and executive branch, but that's probably a little too juvenile for what you're teaching the kids. Not sure though. You could definitely do some dynamic stuff right there. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, that's cool. I'm glad that we still do that in 12. Hey, some adults don't even know the 3 branches of government. So yeah, I'm sure that we still need to get our kids down with the fundamentals, but you're going to have a lot of different options available to you. And I think that kids at that grade, especially, you know, that group that I went in with that was doing the environmental activism type of call to action PSA, those kids were in 11th and 12th grade, and they did a wonderful job with it. That's awesome. So you know the demographic of 8th grade students. They can try your patience every now and again. Although I do miss the banter sometimes, but now it's nice. I get to pop into classrooms with teachers and students. And I really don't want to, you know, I did kind of say this in passing. Again, I know I've spoken a lot. I'll try to not speak so loud. You know, some people, they are very talkative, Delvina. Some, you know, it shouldn't be lost on you that I was a grade 8 math teacher who said, you know, I like the look of that design activity. I did it. I posted it on what was still decent Twitter back in the day. Twitter is lost now. But back in the day, it was good. And I wound up getting great feedback from the Adobe evangelists and, you know, got my ACE level 1 and 2 certifications and became an innovator. And now I get to train people in my spare time. And it is such fun going to Baltimore, going to Virginia, you know, or Maryland, Virginia, going to Massachusetts in the past, New York, you know. So if this is something that you're like, yeah, I like this. I like leading, you know, teachers in ed tech. If you are a tech integrationist out there, you know, if you ever feel like you're kind of working up the ranks of getting certified on the platform, you can always shoot me an email when innovator applications come out. Because we love kind of have people kind of working their way up the ladder, becoming innovators and then trainers. But this is such a thrill for me to be able to do it. And I would never have believed back in the day that this would be something that would be in my future. All right. So put the finishing touches on kind of exploring those templates. Again, you want those video instructions built in, guided activity for everybody. We're all going to experience New Year's at some point, you know, right around January 1st for 2026. You got a mood board template right here that you could share with your kids to tap into that SEL piece. So, you know, this is a platform that you don't have to go running. You don't have to go, I have to create from scratch. You have some great options of pre-built templates that are going to let your kids shine and really share their voice with you. All right. So I'm going back to the main web page. Legitimately, we just scrolled down to the You're Done section. I'm now going back to the home web page, I believe it's called. And would love to get in the chat some ideas of, did this feel organized or was I kind of scattered? Did the web pages work well for you? Because legitimately, this is the first time I've done this version of the session. So I hope it didn't feel that way. So we're going to scroll down a bit. I'm so hopeful that you enjoyed today's session. I mean, sitting in a PD that is 2 hours and 15 minutes with a person who is unengaging can be as sad as it gets. I did my very best to give everybody some tangible use cases, share my passion for this platform and teaching, but you should expect to receive that lovely badge within 7 working days in an email from Credly. So if you're not seeing that, You can always follow up with Jen, who can then follow up with Joe, who is a part of EdgeGain, along with Greg, who some of you saw earlier. But in all honesty, if this platform appeals to you today, what I shared with you appeals, you can either scan that QR code or click here to join the Facebook Adobe Creative Educator community. And I believe this is the one that has just been kind of like revamped. They're really dropping the web pages. You have a great opportunity to sign up, get empowered by some of the evangelists, other educators, other community members, and you have really great perks as well between swag, different meetings, webinars that are set up. And again, if you can become a leader, if you keep working your way up, you get those opportunities to train, and you can get the paid opportunities to train. So it's an excellent way, excellent platform to put in that time on the professional learning front and get competent with it if you feel passionate about using it in your own practice. So I would definitely encourage individuals. This is the brand new community. I believe they might be transitioning away from Facebook. Don't hold me to that. But at this point in the main deck, we've really kind of reached the end. You're more than welcome to join that community. I hope you found this very helpful. Before you go, I'm going to drop this reflection feedback form into the chat, and I would love for you to all complete that before leaving, okay? So hopefully everybody registered in order to get compensated for this webinar event. But at this point, I dropped in that tiny URL that's going to allow you to provide feedback for me, a reflection on today's session, and I hope that you all enjoyed it. So I'm going to be sticking around for 5 more minutes. Lorenzo, everybody else who gave me good feedback and shared some designs with me, I'm very appreciative of you. I'm wishing you a wonderful school year if I do not see you at any of the other sessions over the next couple days. But I'm here, ready to help with anything that anyone might need before leaving. And again, just very appreciative of the opportunity to get to speak and work with you today, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Have a great